When I moved to Colorado, it was from Clinton, Iowa. We started by packing up and getting all of our stuff ready to move by packing it in my grandmother's van because my mom did not have a car. Then my grandmother brought us out there and my mom put my betta fish into a tank up with the top and it sat next to me for the whole ride. It was on the floor of the minivan. It would just swim in circles. Then when we got halfway there, my grandmother was putting gas into the minivan, and the gas shot out of the gas tank and got my grandmother soaking wet in gas. And she walked into the gas station and asked the clerk why the gas shut out. And that was when I was leaving. The clerk told my grandmother that it was because the tank was really hot, because the car was on for a really long time. Then we got onto the interstate. We were in the middle of between two semis, which was cool to me, but my grandmother and my mom were spazzing because they were really paranoid of the semi-trucks colliding. They eventually got over it, and we started getting back to the interstate and driving along. Once we were in Colorado Springs, we were looking around one of the biggest towns I had ever been to. We got to the Wingate Apartments, which was where I would be staying for the next 2 years. This place was worth staying, and it was really nice, with the front having a gate that would stop people from coming in and selling stuff, like terrible items that had absolutely nothing to help people at all. Though there was this Mexican that would sell ice cream that was mildly good. They seemed to have like a watered down feeling or taste, except for the one ice cream cone that he sold. It was a Scooby-Doo ice cream cone. It would have sprinkles and other stuff. This apartment complex had a black fence that went all the way around it. It was about 8 feet tall. The first month that I had lived there were 2 Hispanics that lived right next door to me. They had soon become my best friends for the next year, because shortly after we had become friends, we had met more people, and I started hanging out with others that in a huge complex. There were people that were coming in and out of the apartment complex, and they were most of the time good people. Though there was the occasional jerk, but they wouldn't leave as soon as they had come into the apartment complex. On one occasion, there was a really big storm that went into the state and made his construction site flood, which was right up the hill from my apartment complex, which in return made my apartment complex have water running down the streets and the sidewalks. Have a lot of water running down. Whoa. There was a half Filipino, half American kid who was really nice, and I would go and ride bike with him, also scooter, in the parking lot. There was one time that he had dared me to ride my bike into a foot-high curb, which made my bike break in two, which made my bike break from the handlebars and the front tire.